getting ready to seize your first opportunity to come into the ring and start grandstanding and hot dogging, yeah!
I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long.
When we speak, our voices are heard. We all say, I bring it.
Welcome to the best wrestling talk show on the internet today. Welcome to Malice Smack Talk. I am your host, Masonic Vader. Coming at you, like always, is my crew. Mind Freak.
What's happening? I'm here as the mower of lawns tonight, and it's wonderful.
Oh, standing ovation. Hey. And then there's, I would say Rutherford B. Hayes, but that looks like Marty.
And just like the Shield, the three of us are back together.
Yes. I like that. We have been away for a while, guys, and we apologize. Life just steps in and kicks us in the nuts, just like Shinsuke. However, we're back. Or Jeff Hardy. That's true. Very good. So much so that we're back that not only we have the Mower of Lawn shirt, which I still think is one of the greatest ones next to the Saxton shirt. But I had to break out this.
Hey. You just went full Saxton on it.
I did go full Saxton. That was awesome. Broke out this sweet gem that's 20 plus years old. Yeah, so nice. We are ready to go.
Who want to be up to date, the biggest thing outside the WWE, you got to be the elite. Just saying.
Well, they would read that, but your beard is covering it, so you know. But hey, we are excited to be back. Thank you guys for tuning in on the cast here. Obviously, as you watch the cast, make sure you put some notes down below. Tell me what we did wrong, said wrong, what you want us to talk about next time. Definitely throw out your feelings out there. We appreciate it. And for all you people watching, I just want to give us a quick shout out to all of our new followers on Twitter and Instagram lately. We hit the 250 mark, so we're a young buck crew, and we're building up, and we appreciate you guys jumping in there. And we do this show because we love it. We love having you fans out there. So thank you very much. Tonight's cast. Well, we're gonna kind of get right back into it. First, we'll talk about our results from SummerSlam, which, as you can see in the little picture below, Mind Freak's forehead right there just got dealt some last-second news that just sucks for him. And then we'll also get into what's been going on in the league and the shows and stuff. And I'm hoping Marty can plug in some extra stuff here for this weekend as well for the All-In pay-per-view coming up as well. So let's jump right into it. So we had our SummerSlam. Our last time we were on was precast SummerSlam, and we did our picks. And for you guys who do follow us on Twitter and stuff, man. Mind Freak, you could see the smile breaking out the minute the tweet came out saying, "Oh my gosh, he won," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm stoked, man." He was excited. He was gonna come on here. He's probably gonna let it swing out and tap people in the forehead. I have no idea. He was excited, but then we had the scorekeeper show up, and I think if you hold it up,
no, correction. The scorekeeper said I won, and then he's saying we tied. So I feel like Roman Reigns at the Greatest Royal Rumble when my feet touched the ground first before Brock's, and now you're saying it's a tie. Whatever. I'm the true SummerSlam winner. Whatever.
Anyways, hey, why don't you hold that up really quick, man? Show that to the screen. I'm sure people won't be able to read it. I'll go for it. Oh, there it is. There it is. And when you look at the final numbers, it's a tie. It's a tie. You did not win. You tied.
Hey, that's true. I tied with you. But here's the thing. We could say we're tag team champions and we beat Marty.
We are the tag team champions of the world. And of course,
that's the only time you're ever going to win any gold against me.
Wait a sec. Yeah. Overall season, I think I'm first place. Let me hold the strap, buddy. Boom.
About to get a super kick to the face in a moment.
Hell yeah, dude!
Just don't.
Do I hear a WWE 2K19 tournament between the three of us coming out soon?
Might have to.
I'm
thinking that I'm gonna tear it apart with the next HIAC and just kill all of you guys with the Hell in a Cell match picks.
I would love to do that. In fact, I will probably buy the game, but I'm just going to throw myself under the bus and say that the last time I played a WWE game, I think The Rock was on the cover. So
You better know your role. Those
yeah,
games.
shut your mouth.
I'm gonna go on that. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was so amped up after SummerSlam, despite most of the outcomes of the matches. But with the way it ended with the new Universal Champion, man, I was feeling it. So I'm not gonna lie. I put some hours in on WWE 2K18, and I had some good times in those matches. I haven't played that game in a while, and it was fun playing those games again.
Yep.
Can't wait for 19 to come out.
I know, right? It's gonna be great.
Yeah, man. WWE, like for me right now, is kind of like in that zone that is the unpredictable zone. You just had the SummerSlam, and now you got to wait pretty much for the Survivor Series, which, to be perfectly frank, has lost its luster because they don't actually do the traditional Survivor Series anymore. So you got your Hell in a Cell and stuff coming up, and whatever kind of crud they're throwing out in Australia, which is making me puke. But I am excited about the Women Evolution. But right now, it's kind of like everything's the Royal Rumble at this point for me. So it's interesting to see all the twists and turns and all the extras that WWE is going to be doing over the next 4 or 5 months until the Royal Rumble comes along, including the Mae Young Classic. So, but let's just dive in really quick to the fact that SummerSlam's over. Brock Lesnar lost the belt, which we were all hoping would do that. Regardless of whatever we did vote, I did say he would win, but I also said he would lose because I knew they would let Braun Strowman take it. We're all very happy that Brock Lesnar is no longer the champion.
And if you're out there listening to this show right now, and if you're anybody who says you're not happy that Brock Lesnar didn't lose or lost the title, you're a damn fool and you're lying to yourself. Because if you're saying that you'd rather have Brock Lesnar with that title sitting at home right now, then you're not a wrestling fan. You need to check out your priorities, because having the belt off Brock Lesnar is best for business.
Oh, it is. Like, I have a friend of mine who doesn't even watch it, but he knows Brock Lesnar. He's an MMA guy, and he's just like, Brock could beat anybody if he really wanted to. He voluntarily relinquished it in the form of match. I'm like, bro, shut up. Stick to your MMA. I'll stick to wrestling. Let's leave it.
Yeah, it's good that they did that. I am a fan of Brock Lesnar to a point. I think he brings a whole different genre, a whole different influence. I mean, since he joined the WWE back in the day, in his first stint, we've had a lot of different athletes come in from MMA, which is awesome. I mean, you had Shamrock, the original, but now you're seeing a whole influx of them, all the way down to now that the females with Sonya Deville, with Ronda Rousey and whatnot. So it's very interesting to see MMA kind of rolling in a little bit into that WWE flair. But at the same time, though, it was a godsend that they finally let Brock Lesnar Brock Lesnar's done for a while. And you know what? As much as you want to give Roman Reigns grief, and if you hate him, whatever, bottom line, since he's had the belt, he's defended it twice. And I'll tell you, his first match defending it against Finn Balor, freaking awesome match. And I was actually hoping that they'd give it to Finn Balor. That would have been a great way to kind of transition. Hey, he wins it one night, then gets it back. But it was just great nonetheless to see. And I actually look forward to seeing Roman Reigns with the belt because of how polarizing he is. He's taken over for Cena as far as the polarizing person on the screen. But then he said it himself, man. The Shield are just workhorses, man, and they are the backbone right now of the WWE. And I do feel that they're doing the right thing by giving him the belt. Seth Rollins having the belt, and then who knows, man? Ambrose is going to roll around with something pretty soon too.
This is going to be pretty fantastic for the WWE and just for wrestling fans in general. I mean, he says they're a workhorse, and if you look at since they came in, Survivor Series 2014 or whatever it was, 2013, they have been the workhorses nonstop, with the exception of the time that each of them got hurt, and put them out significantly. Even with those times, you put the work they've done, they're just putting more work time in than most people out there. With the exception of the AJ Styles, or even that, there's nobody else. I would say AJ Styles is probably one of the only ones out there who's putting more work in on a daily basis and at a higher level than those three guys. And there's a reason why the three of them have 5 title, or I think 6 or 7 title reigns in that time period. because they are the workhorses. They're putting it in. They're making great matches. Doesn't matter who they're fighting. You know, they're always putting people over and giving great matches. Every time Roman's in a match with somebody, no matter how much they hate him, how polarizing he is, as you just said, those guys are getting over on him and becoming superstars that people are starting to cheer. Whether it's because it's Roman or not, you're seeing what these guys have as talent-wise when they're in their matches. How many times have we talked about over the last 6 months that Seth Rollins continually puts on the best matches on the entire card because of the talent, the skill level, and the fact that he's hitting his stride right now? Roman Reigns is getting better. I think he's always been great in a match. I don't care what anyone says, his moveset. Guess what? He's not meant to be a traditional wrestler. He's not going to be Dean Malenko. He's not going to be Finn Balor. He's not going to be Rey Mysterio. He's just going to come out there and brawl and fight and everything like that. That's who he is. He's a bruiser. He was the muscle of the Shield, and it's exactly who he's supposed to be. Guess what? He comes out there, punches, spears, kicks, and beats their ass. That's exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And then you got Dean Ambrose, who the guy is a psychopath. He does everything. I mean, he's got his goofy moments, but he's destroying it every time. He's having a great time every time he's out there. And the fact that he's coming back the way he's come back, man, I am excited for, out of all three of them, I'm excited to see what we get from Dean Ambrose over the next couple months.
Yeah, Dean Ambrose coming back looks like Baby H. I mean, he looks like he was on the Triple H program, junior.
Yeah, even his first match that he had with Ziggler and some of the stuff that he was doing, it wasn't a typical Ambrose. I mean, there were some of the same things that he did, but he just looked completely different. The moveset and the stuff that he was doing just looked phenomenal. It looked great. So, same thing. Just I want to see where it goes with him. I know there have been talks where he's going to be the one that does the heel turn on the Shield. We don't know what's going to happen with that. Only time will tell. We'll see what happens. But great things out of all three of them.
Yeah, and then if you're not even going further than that, you know, look at his match with Jinder Mahal this week. He just came in and just beat him down. And he looked, you know, he had an aggression to him and a power force behind his moves that we never really saw behind Dean Ambrose. And it was nice seeing him do all that, and whether it was against Jinder or not. But yeah, I'm on board. I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah, it's good the Shield is back, and I'm glad they're not the old Shield. They're still individuals. They're just coming out in certain areas, you know, like what we saw when Braun was going to cash in and then they came in and stopped it and whatnot. But it's nice to see that nonetheless, because I think those are some of the better factions, the ones that can go individually and gel at the same time. They're not dominant, because when they first came into WWE, that was probably one of the most annoying things to me, is that you get a faction that comes in and then just week after week after week just messes up matches, does this, and it bugs me, because some of those things they mess up are really good matches. Like, what are you guys smoking? Let that match move. But now they're to the point where they don't need the Shield as a team. They just are a team, and they only come out when necessary as a team. Other than that, they can handle their own, which is awesome. So WWE has definitely got their stride back when it comes to the Shield, which is kudos to them. It's going to help Raw get some life back into it.
Yeah, and to go with that, I mean, when that first came out and they saved Roman from Braun cashing in, you know, there was a couple things for that. One, are they coming back as a heel faction? Are they coming back as a face faction? And we talked about this earlier in our pre-production call, was more along the lines of them coming back and they're saying, we don't care who's coming out. We don't care what's happening. At the end of the day, the three of us are going to run this place because we are the backbone, and we're going to hold on to our belts no matter what. And at first, the first week when they first came back, I was like, okay, so this is basically them trying to make sure that they save Roman and keep him above it and, you know, take the heat away from him. But then when Roman came out this week and they made his promo and said, yeah, last week we did stop Braun. Last week, I didn't lose my belt. Well, you know what? This week, it's now our boy Seth Rollins' turn, and we're going to make sure we have his back, and we're going to make sure he keeps that strap. And so that right there was like, okay, this isn't about Roman. This is about the entire faction. So that is right there is awesome.
Yeah,
and the way they delivered that promo, that was like the best way they could have done that, and the promo in that sense was based on, because I know a lot of us had the same thoughts last week. It's like, okay, are they just going to do it this way? But then they're like, nah, we're the workhorses. We do what we want when we want. They're my brothers. They want to come out and have my back. They'll have my back. But tonight, this is all me, by myself. Let's do it, kind of thing. And I think, and I know we talked about, you know, there's certain promos that Roman needed to have when he come out, stuff like that. This was one of them. And just with the way that it, to me, the way that it just came off, it was just like, we'll do what we want, how we want it, If this is just going to be me and you, okay, maybe next week it's all three of us. You know?
Yeah, and the Shield needs to come back for Dean Ambrose's sake too. Dean Ambrose was out for too long. He missed a lot of stuff. And usually when a guy is gone, you kind of like there's always some kind of thing about him. Hey, what happens when he comes back? Dean Ambrose was literally just shut down from the entire WWE for the last 8-9 months, however long his injury was. There wasn't any talk about him up until probably the last 2 or 3 weeks or a week before he was coming back, because he was obviously starting to hit the house shows at that point. It's good to have the Shield in his corner so he can kind of get his feet wet and also get this new interesting angle where it's the lunatic fringe, but I don't want to say it's fringe anymore. I think it's just lunatic pissed off. And he's going to be coming back, making up for some lost time, and moving from there. And I'm excited, man. Their promos the last couple of weeks have been spot on. So
yeah, I like what they're doing too. The fact they have Dolph and Drew McIntyre still kind of intertwined in this storyline. I think they want to keep Ziggler relevant, and I think that's something big because he is a great talent on that roster.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that too many times he's been kind of gone to the side because they know what they have with him, and they don't always need him to be someone at the higher, the upper mid card. But keeping him there with the storyline, I think is great. But what it's doing is really elevating Drew McIntyre, and let him cut his promo the other day was fantastic. And it's letting him kind of have that spotlight where you have Ziggler there who's been there and have the titles. Well, you know what? Now McIntyre's come back. He's earned his stripes to return. We're going to get him back in the spotlight to give him opportunity and see what he does. But you have Drew McIntyre in this ring going up against Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. I don't think there's any other way to elevate him to a higher level than by having him next to two guys that have kind of been shown as the two, biggest names on that roster besides Brock Lesnar.
I wish they would bring McIntyre back not only with these awesome promos, but to also just be whooping the crap out of people. Like, I want to see him just dominate. I want to see him dominate names because this second return of his, I've said it before, and I'll keep praising it, man. Drew McIntyre, when he first started, phenomenal. Just was young, too much throwing on him. I think Vince really kind of like did not know what to do with the talent, and it was really rough. The hiatus he had, him coming back, holy crap. He's just built like just a stone. He's just incredibly sized. He's almost twice his size, lean, jacked, and his attitude is so much more. Yeah. It's like I'm waiting for him to have his run, and it's going to be a long run. It is going to be.
Well, yeah, and if you look at his time away, he went away. If you look at what Vince likes, he likes those guys who have that character and that personality that can do more than just be in a match and be a sports entertainer. And if you look at what Drew McIntyre did as Drew Galloway, he did exactly that. He rebuilt his name. He built up his following, but that people would come over and remember who he was. But then those who've been around for a long time, when they saw Drew McIntyre come back, they knew exactly who he was and what he was doing. And the fact they saw him at the peak level he is, that he wasn't the same Drew McIntyre from 3MB. He was the Drew McIntyre when he first arrived. And that was big because it's like, great, we're gonna get another mid-carder coming back and returning. What are we going to get? Are they going to put him back in the 3MB gimmick and let him fall away to the wayside? Because that's what they're kind of doing with Jinder Mahal again. Heath Slater's never gone past that. But the fact that they have Drew McIntyre team up with Dolph, and they've allowed him to bring that character and attitude over with him is fantastic.
Well, not only that too, especially paired with Dolph, like you mentioned too, Dolph, fantastic performer, and just everything that he does. In my eyes, too, in the way it's like you team up with Dolph, in a way you're getting him over without having them to fight each other. You're kind of using one to kind of propel. And it's working out great. I mean, the chemistry that they have, what they're doing in the ring and all that kind of stuff, it's fantastic. And I'll say the first time I saw it, and even when I still see it, the Zigzag to Claymore, that tag team finishing move, it's brilliant. I think it's great. So we'll just see what happens with it more.
So when you look at this, are you guys thinking that the Shield coming back, that they're actual face faction, a heel faction, or kind of just doing their own thing? And do you think that Braun has joined up with Ziggler and Drew McIntyre to make a heel faction?
No, I think to me, Shield is just the Shield. They're a rogue faction. They're not. I don't think they could ever put them heel. I don't think the fans would have let it. That's the thing, man. I mean, as much as you want to sit there and push someone heel, ultimately the fans are the ones that bite on that or not. And these aren't the WWE fans when I was growing up, dude. You know, Paul Orndorff turns on freaking Hulk Hogan. All of a sudden, he's the worst guy in the world. I remember that day, and I was like, dude, this is garbage. I was pissed as a kid. I was only like 8 years old. But that's how it was, man. You turned heel, you were a bad guy. When Iron Sheik came out, he was a bad guy. When Nikolai Volkov came out, he's always a bad guy. These are smarter fans now. These aren't just like good guy, bad guy fans. You just can't sit there and say this guy's a heel the next day and have him cut out a promo. They don't bite on that stuff anymore, and that leads me. I was about to say that leads me into Braun. I see what they're trying to do here. They're teaming them up with McIntyre and Ziggler. However, I don't think the fans are going to go over that, man. He came in as a heel, and the fans turned them face. And so now they're trying to turn him heel again. And once again, I don't think the fans are going to roll with that, man, because they just like him as a character.
They're not going to roll with that, but I think that's what's going to make this storyline and this arc between the 6 guys amazing, because you have two teams that people are behind both sides. There's, people love Ziggler, people love the Drew McIntyre and what they're doing. Yeah, they get boos, but that's because of who they're going up against. They're not going to get cheers when they're going up against Seth Rollins. It's just not. You got Roman Reigns on the Shield side who's going to get boos, and then 30 seconds later he's getting cheers. And then you have Braun Strowman, who everyone wants to cheer, but then when he turns heel or when he has those heel moments, they're booing him too, but then they're begging him for more. So it's just I don't think we've seen a faction versus faction that's going to be as polarizing as these 6 guys. I would say like the closest thing might have been when the NWO finally came over to after the invasion and everything, and you had DX with Shawn and Triple H, and then you had the NWO with Hogan and Scott Hall and Nash coming back, and you kind of had that where people knew who they both were. Obviously, nobody's gonna hate D-Generation X because it's DX, and at the same time, you had those who hated. Exactly. You had those guys who despised NWO for a couple reasons. One, it was NWO and it was WCW representative, but 2, you had those guys who carried over from the past who hold on the NWO because that was wrestling. That was the biggest competition, in WCW against DX and the WWE. So you had a faction that had cheers and boos, and you had a faction that had cheers. And we're at that level now, except I feel like between these, we're going to get more cheers for the Shield and more of a polarizing effect with the other 3 guys than we did with the last faction, first faction. But, what these 6 guys can do in the ring with each other, we're going to see some great matches and some great storyline if they do it right.
Mind freak.
Yeah,
no, man.
You guys always criticizing me for agreeing with certain points and stuff like that, or picking matches and whatnot. So
we only criticize you for agreeing on the picks we do, dude. Okay. We're not talking about this stuff.
But no, it's the point. I mean, it's like, as a fan, I like Ziggler, I like McIntyre, but when they're going up against people that I like, a little bit better in terms of like Seth Rollins, or Roman Reigns, or anybody like that, of course I'm going to cheer for them, but at the same time, I'm watching the match because I know what they can do, and I know how awesome of a match that it could be. So usually it's not necessarily going to come down to who's going to win or lose. I'm more interested in the storyline, what you're going to do with the story, how you're going to progress the story, and what's going to happen overall. I think Braun teaming up with them, I think it was just a thing. It was just like, hey, I'm going to soften Roman up because, look at the Braun Roman history. Look how many grueling matches they had back and forth and stuff like that. This is just something to add on to it. Now it's for the title, and I think Braun's just doing it just so he can get the title. It's not necessarily going to lead to anything, but as again, I can see a faction versus faction. I know they're advertising the match now for Australia, the Shield versus Ziggler, McIntyre, and Strowman. But again, it's a show out of the U.S. They're putting on the biggest names that they can just to drive the numbers, drive more people there for the fans. I get it. Part of the reason why we're getting Triple H and Undertaker, but
So there's a couple more points I think we should go to Raw really quick. Go through Raw on that, and then we'll switch gears here in a sec. The elephant in the room right now, man. We all didn't think someone would win the championship belt. I did, but we also did say it was premature. And sure enough, Ronda Rousey wins the belt at SummerSlam. It's been pretty big, not only just for WWE, but every news media outlet in the world has covered it since she's won it. She hasn't done anything with it since then. A lot of focus has been on Natty lately with the passing of her father and her getting back in the ring and them trying to build up some kind of storyline there. When it's all said and done, the match itself, man, was exactly what I expected the match to be. Was Ronda Rousey going out there and just whooping ass. I mean, it's just what she should be doing since day one. We've all agreed that if all these women just met outside and we had $100, we know who we're putting our money on. We know who's going to win. Okay, so that being said, I don't know if I mean, I know they want to push Alexa Bliss against her again, but I don't know, man. She got beat pretty good. Where do you think Rousey's next big time opponent's going to come from?
I think it has to be Natty. I think that after all this is said and done, I think we're going to get some kind of heel turn from Natty to finish off her career, and I think this is where Natty turns heel and goes against Ronda. You know, she's been building her up, you know, side by side, being by her partner. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to where Natty's going to feel like she's the one who's been there forever, that she deserves to have this title. She's a legacy. Ronda's a newbie. Again, an overhyped rookie. But now that Natty's going to put her in, so she throws herself in the picture. And when it comes down to the Raw roster, Natty's probably the only one that could really go head-to-toe as far as a wrestler goes with Ronda Rousey.
That's true. That's true. My freak, you shaking your head. Do you agree there?
I do. I mean, really what it comes down to is how long is she going to have the title for, too? I mean, when it comes down to, you know, wrestling the legacy, like, I can see the storyline because, I mean, that would be a legitimate storyline for the title between Natty and Ronda. Me just saying it, I don't know why. It just came across my head. Charlotte versus Ronda, just because.
Right.
Well,
actually, but then
you know what? I know it's not for the title. I'm just saying.
I think it's going that route as well, and I think that's what to be honest, I think the two of them could potentially be the headlining match at WrestleMania 35 this year. And that's the thing, and that's going to get to what's the other big storyline going on right now. But one of them will have to lose that title, and it comes down to if you're going to get the two of them fighting each other, which I think would be, you know, a great match. Although I think that Charlotte is a much better performer and wrestler than Ronda ever will be. You know, which one of those two is going to have to drop the belt? I know which one I want to drop the belt. Go ahead.
I'm about to say, dude, I think this is how they're going to play it, dude. It is going to be a WrestleMania match, and it'll be champion versus champion. I don't think it'll be for the belts, but it'll be a champion versus champion. But what's going to roll it up to WrestleMania is what I've said already, and I'm throwing it out there again. Baszler lost her belt. The other two have come along. You've got the 4 horsewomen of the UFC now officially in there, and it makes it perfect sense for them to bring them up to the roster and kind of hanging with Rousey now as champ. She has her stable, if you want to call it that. Now, right now, they do have the storyline starting up with Charlotte and Becky. However, I think what's going to end up happening here is this. Women Evolution is going to be the beginning of the 4 horsewomen of the WWE versus the 4 horsewomen of the UFC. And it's going to carry through Royal Rumble. It might even be a Survivor Series match. Who knows? But it's going to carry all the way through WrestleMania to where I think Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey, champion versus champion, with the respective stables at their back. That would be a WrestleMania headline match right there. And I agree. I think Charlotte should win that match. It would just be a matter of how much Ronda Rousey's in-ring skills progress. She's getting better, but you could definitely see there's more UFC in her ring than there is actual, if you want to call it entertainment wrestling, sports entertainment wrestling. She's definitely more lethal right now. And if anyone can go against her, like move for move, I agree, Natty on the Raw roster, but overall, Charlotte is the only one I think that's athletic enough and actually has the ability and the pedigree to take on Ronda Rousey and win.
Yeah, and if you look at what's been going on the last week, I mean, the other three women have been broadcasting the crap out of the Four Horsewomen merch and everything at all levels.
Yeah,
they were NXT, they were at WWE live events, so it's coming. Now, here's where I throw the wrench in the mix. This storyline with Becky and Charlotte is reaching a completely different level of heights that I don't think the WWE has expected or anticipated. And what they're going with Becky Lynch right now and where the fans are standing with her, they are getting really close to where everybody's going to be boycotting Charlotte Flair as a champion because they do not want her as champion. They want Becky Lynch, and they're giving it to her. It's Becky. This you just mentioned a little while ago about them trying to turn somebody heel and it not working. They are doing everything possible to make Becky Lynch the heel on SmackDown, and it is not flying. They want Becky
everyone's
to be
actually
champion.
on it. Yeah,
they want her to give her more. They want more of it. I mean, she dropped a line like.
Oh, dude, that line was brilliant.
But it was perfect. And
it was.
Becky, they need to give her that belt, and they need to make it happen soon. And I think that's why Charlotte's going to be the one that drops the belt, and she's going to be the one chasing for Ronda. And I think that we're going to get this where Charlotte actually loses the belt and says, you know what? In Evolution, we're going to get the Four Horsemen coming out. And I think this is where Charlotte jumps ship and goes to Raw and tries to start something up there, especially when the fact you already have the Boston Hug connection going on over there. So you already have the three of them building themselves up to be a stable by themselves.
Man, now I was hoping to jump this in really quick, like after, but we're on their time. So I got to just take a minute to remind everybody why we're here and make sure you guys check out malicecorp.com, Malice-Corp. They are the people that let us do what we do here today. And you'll see them there on the screen there. Check them out. All things nerd. Obviously, WWE and wrestling and everything we're talking about here as well. They have Quest for 100, Big Papa Matt and Beacon watching up to 100 movies in the theater. I think the last time I heard anything, I think Beacon and them were up to like 68 movies. That's a lot of damn movies, man, in the movie theater. That's a lot of popcorn. So definitely check that out. And then, of course, you got the main cast every Friday night at 8 o'clock on Twitch TV. This weekend, I believe the Comics for All guys are going to be taking over the show as our producer and some of us other guys are normally on there are going to be AWOL. So it's a great show. Check it out. When it's not on Twitch, you can see it on YouTube like you could follow our stuff as well. So going back to finish off Raw, the last thing I think we should probably talk about, the most impactful, I think it was the shortest amount of time on there. Quick match, 30 seconds in the chair. I quit. Kevin Owens taking a little leave of absence right now. Now, as we are fans of this of wrestling on TV as a whole, and also knowing what it is behind the scenes, we know it's not an actual like he's quitting. All right, he's getting some time off, which is well deserved because I think he's been running nonstop since he's been brought up from NXT. I have my personal feelings. I'll have Mind Freak. Why don't you start off? What do you think about that?
It's the pent up frustration. It's it's like he said. You had your friends in your back. My best friend's gone. Sammy's gone. I'm trying to fight here, claw everything. Nothing is going his way. I think with him saying he's quit, it's not really him quitting. What I think it is, it's a time for him just to take a step back. I mean, I like KO. I like him. I think he's great. He's great on the mic, great. In entertainer, great in the ring. I think this is a way for him just to kind of take a step back, kind of take a breather. And when he comes back, I think we're going to see a new face, like a new Kevin Owens. Like, not necessarily like he said he's a bad, but something better. Kind of like how Dean Ambrose came back, and he has that new kind of facade. I think we're going to see something new with Kevin when he comes back.
Marty, what do you think, buddy?
I think that we're going to get a totally different rebranding of Kevin Owens is what we're about to get. I mean, he's been going fight Kevin fight, fight Owens fight, been this prize fighter since he came up from the NXT roster. That first match against John Cena. he's had great storylines. He's done great in the ring. He's an awesome performer. It's interesting what they're doing because if you look at what he's been doing, I mean, we've been saying it for weeks now and even months. They keep having these matches where you think that he's going to, start getting that push again, and they drop him. He had that long storyline with Braun Strowman where Braun just beat his ass every time, whether it was off a cage or a porta potty or 30-second Money in the Bank briefcase match. It didn't matter. Braun was just destroying him, running through him. Seth Rollins destroying him, running through him. They haven't ever since, and it goes back ever since Sammy left, ever since Sammy didn't show up at the Greatest Royal Rumble, it's kind of been Kevin Owens on his own and really hasn't done much since then, with the exception of being Kevin Owens. Here's what I don't like. I don't like the fact that they going the I quit route with him basically grabbing his ball and going home. If you look at the WWE, they've already put him to the alumni section again. But this is the second time he's gone this route in a year. They did this last fall, winter with him and Sammy where they both got fired, given it was fired and not quit, before they eventually came back and showed up on Raw. Maybe this is them bringing him to SmackDown. I don't know, because I think he could be a good show on SmackDown if Joe is there. I think that we can see some great matches with that. But we're either going to get him on SmackDown or we're going to get him as a completely different rebranding. I just don't like the route they're going and him quitting when he's already been fired and already been removed from everything twice this year. It's kind of like, like if you go to other the superstars, they flip Randy Orton or they flip Big Show too many times. Well, you keep doing this same storyline too many times, and eventually it's not going to have any factor because nobody's going to fall or believe it.
Yeah, so with Kevin Owens, man, he's been a mixed bag of nuts for me as well. I mean, he's had his good runs, he's had some bad stuff. The one thing I have noticed, and this is nothing to crack on him, it's not, and he's even admitted himself, he doesn't come in, he's not your typical wrestler. He moves around, he flies around, he does the same, but he's also not running around with a six-pack. He's not rolling around with tight gear on and stuff like that, right? Something I've noticed about him lately, though, is I've seen that he's gotten a little bit more out of shape, which leads to me, and it's nothing knocking him off, it's saying straight up, he's been going too hard and too long that you could see his body starting to break down a little bit, and I think this is a good chance for him to just get out of the limelight, get himself adjusted. He's probably going to come back with Sami Zayn. I mean, that's kind of like what they were kind of like giving us a lead up to right before he leaves. I don't have my friend. He needs to just get out of the picture for a minute, because his best run was when he was the face of America, like like My Freak threw in there a second ago. His run with Jericho, okay, and then his brief run with Sami Zayn as the entertainment show. But as far as wrestling, he's just been Braun's, excuse my French, bitch for the last couple months. And he's taken some serious falls. I think it's time for him to just step out for a minute, let himself, he's a family man. I mean, that guy definitely is family. Let him go hang out with his family. Let him kind of get his mindset, have him come back with a different persona, a different Kevin Owens. I liked him as Kevin Owens fight. I liked him as a prize fighter because that's when he just came in and he didn't care and he kicked the crap out of people. But you could definitely see that it's been wearing on him. And you can look for the last 5 months, every match he's had. He gives it his all, and I'm not dumping on him at all, but you could definitely see if you've ever watched wrestling or know stuff, he is definitely not 100%, and he needs this break time.
Well, look at everything he's been doing. He was even Money in the Bank. He was the one being thrown off the ladders and all the other matches. He's the one taking these big spots, and nobody else is. And he's probably the one guy who probably shouldn't be taking those spots. Yeah, but he still is.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't like the quitting thing. I would have liked something better. But once again, we already know it's just time off. It's part of a storyline.
See, and to go with that, I think he fought Rollins. I think a great way to send him off would have been to have him beat up Seth Rollins, and the Shield come out and protect him, and so to speak, put him on the shelf by the Shield's hands for him coming after and then protecting their brother. I think that would have been a perfect write-off if that was the case, and just to give him the time away and off screen, it would have been the perfect sign off for him.
It was a good match to go out with too. I really liked the match. He came out right at the bat. His promo, "I'm leaving, taking your belt. That's my belt." That was all phenomenal. He even dumped on Toronto, and they booed him, but then they started cheering him right after. I mean, that's what Kevin Owens has. And so, you know, for you people who are all concerned and everything, if you're kind of new to wrestling, he's not gone. It's called a leave of absence, man. He's getting rested up. He's going to spend family time. They're going to rebrand him. They're going to come up with some cool stuff. I probably think around SummerSlam or not SummerSlam, excuse me, Survivor Series, but more than likely, I think, depending on if he's got some injuries, he'll be a Royal Rumble entrant that we will be cheering greatly for and welcome him back. Simple as that. I mean, it'll give Sami Zayn time too, because I don't know where Sami Zayn is on the heel process. It sounds like he's pushed back a little bit further.
Maybe they're letting Kevin Owens have his time off so he can go in and join the Chris Jericho cruise in October.
No, there you go, man. They're all in, huh? You know what I'm saying?
Oh
no! I did see some little things earlier, postings and stuff saying Undisputed Era. I saw that, so we'll see. But yeah, let's move on to Raw, man. I think that's a good kind of like push on Raw where we're at and everything. Let's head over to SmackDown. SmackDown's been just inundated with I think a couple of good big stories. The first one, which I think this is the best one going right now, and someone's gonna probably give me stank eye for it, but you know what? The promos have been solid as a rock, and I don't understand. And it's great, man. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, and let me tell you, this is the Samoa Joe I want. Just talking crap about his family, just dumping him. Oh, he's made some promises.
Hey, Wendy.
Oh.
I'm coming to that barbecue. Have a plate ready for me. I was like, oh shit.
Hey, he said he's gonna come home and read stories to the kids. Well, guess what? Daddy's already asleep. Bam! Oh my God, so brilliant, dude. Brilliant. This is
storyline. This was probably the one storyline that I was like, really, we're going there with this. We have this. This is the story that should be about wrestling. These guys have gone up the ranks together from day one. This should be about wrestling, what these two can do in the ring. And I hated the storyline, but the story continually gets better and better and better. And it's like, wow.
And I think the reason that has a lot more legitimacy and it hits, especially for us, that know their careers, know where they've been and how they came up together. It's just one of those things where we know this can get really personal real quick because of how well they know each other. But yet it's just like at first I'm just like, really, going you're same way, we're going this way. Now it's just like,
how hardcore? Wait, no, I gotta say it.
You know who it is.
How hardcore is it? How hardcore is it that at SummerSlam he's talking shit, and I'm saying he's talking shit to his wife and his daughter right there. His daughter's like 7 years old, man. She doesn't even know what the heck's going on. I know they probably prepped her up for it, but still, that's But then again,
it's one of those things we see it on we see it on TV, we see it there. But is it kayfabe? Is it part of the story? Do they legitimately hate each other? Or are they still friends on the side? It's like one of those things.
I know it was awesome. When was the last time you're watching a Big Four pay-per-view and you hear the entire audience just loud out of, oh shit, at once? The air of that place disappeared. Hey, Wendy, Daddy's coming home.
Yeah. That's intense. That's intense. That's exactly what SmackDown needed at this point, because SmackDown was starting to lose some steam because your big match was Daniel Bryan and Miz, which we'll talk about in a sec. And they were losing it. So this just automatically put a freaking shovel of coal right into the engine, man. It was awesome. And this is Samoa Joe I want. I don't want Samoa Joe where people just chant his name and he goes out there and he's putting people to sleep and stuff. Samoa Joe, and I didn't know
for a reason now.
I started seeing Samoa Joe at TNA when he had this same character going, and I was hooked on him then because you could tell the guy could do what he can in the ring. He's phenomenal. He's once again one of those guys who has all this size and still does things that guys his size shouldn't do.
Oh yeah.
And to see this match happen, and then to see everything that was going on, this is going to be going for a while. And I hope that they do trade off the belt, because I still believe AJ Styles they need to let him ditch the belt. There needs to be something that pushes this farther.
And to answer that, and I know I've been the guy who's been advocating that Joe shouldn't be champion and AJ needs to lose it to somebody else, and maybe the Miz or something along those lines. This storyline, the fact that it's progressed so much over the last 2 weeks and it's gotten that much better, I'm at the point where I'm starting to be okay and starting to see the picture with Joe becoming champion. And if that's the case, if we're going to get a different side of Joe, and I think, when it comes down to is that I felt like Joe was a one-dimensional kind of character, and he really was. But now you're giving him some personality and some backstory and some personal, confrontation and storyline to him. I think you're making him someone I can get behind as far as watching. Before, because he was so dimensional, it was boring. I didn't care. Oh, he's going to come in, cheap shot, or grab someone from behind when they're not looking, throw him down, choke him out, and he's going to walk out. Cool. I don't care. I don't want to see you do that. Get in the match and show me what you can do, because I know what you can do in that ring. Quit being this cheap shot artist and actually do something. And the fact that now, even though it's cheap shots, whatever he's doing, but it's entertaining now. It wasn't entertaining before, and I think that was what was missing. And I think that's why I'm getting more on board with him, potentially becoming the next title holder.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely what SmackDown needed, and I'm actually happy that Marty's on board now.
I know, right?
Yeah. I was expecting to get Stank.
Wonderful.
So then we move over to. So I think we're good with that, man. That was enough said. I'm going to take my win and run. Let's go right in. Daniel Bryan Miz. Now we're going to go back to SmackDown on this one. Now, I hated that dang match. The ending of the match sucked. That was such a great match until, let's bring out the Knuckles and let's knock someone down.
You knew it was going to happen.
I know.
I called Miz was going to win. I called it was going to be something stupid or something cheap or somebody's going to interfere or something to happen. And it's what the story needs to progress between them, and the way that they're even going back to like what Joe's doing, the fact that Miz is making it personal, like right after SummerSlam, just mocking Daniel's retirement speech, saying he's retired from fighting Daniel Bryan all over again. I'm not a fan of how they're setting the match up. Bringing Daniel versus Miz and Maurice, because it's a repeat of WrestleMania from last year with John and Nikki.
It's not a repeat; it's a reboot.
Reboot, just with the other Bella.
Yeah. You just went full Saxton, buddy. I agree. I don't like this angle. I don't mind seeing Brie and Nikki back in the ring in a sense, because they need some depth until some of the younger talent comes up from NXT in the Mae Young Classic for the ladies. But I don't like this angle. I think it's pulling away from what the main angle should be, which is Miz and Daniel Bryan going bonkers on each other. Man.
And this is where I'm going to disagree with you guys, because I don't. We did see this match before, so to speak, with John and Nikki with the mixed match tag team match, which obviously led to proposals and engagements and all that not happening.
Wait, I don't remember that. No, I don't think you can't see that. What?
But what and it's going to take away from watching the Miz and Daniel Bryan, but I think it's going to progress this storyline in a couple ways. One, this is a way to give Daniel a win over the Miz. That's not going to water down this feud, because you want this to last for a while. This could easily be this, like we've said, this is easily the event or the storyline that can get us through the winter and get us into WrestleMania season easily if they do it right. But by them, since day one, this has always been a personal storyline from day one. It's been, I hate you, you hate me, you failed me, and you made me look bad, and I don't care if you went on your way and did your thing besides me, but you are where you're at because of me. And it's been personal from day one. Now, by bringing the wives in, it's continuing that storyline that this is personal. It means nothing more to them as far as we don't like each other, and this is where we're going to progress.
Why do we have to have a mixed tag team match to do that, though? Why couldn't we sit there and say, okay, bring the wives in? I'm fine with that. Not use them as valets, though. I say, man, let them fight it out. I
think we're going to, but if you look at both of them, they're both coming off the long absences. Memories just having a baby. Brie only been in the ring twice since she's had little birdie about a year and a half ago. So this is kind of giving them the opportunity to get back in the ring and break that ring rust without putting them in a match one-on-one that nobody's going to want to watch. Yeah. So it puts them in a match so their flaws could be hidden by Daniel and The Miz. And this is going to lead us to Daniel getting a win. And now we have a storyline for the next one of them going one-on-one. And then we have that bigger match and we get a payoff that we want to see.
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Any opportunity to see Maurice in the ring? Come on now. All right, go ahead, Mind Freak. Sorry.
But not only that, like to the point, like that's what I was trying to make. I mean, yeah, we've seen this match before.
Trying to make it, then make it.
This is so personal. I mean, you even have to look, not necessarily just personal for The Miz and Bryan, but also personal because there's also been bad blood between Maurice and the Bellas, too. Yes. So that adds more of that personality to the fights, the more validity. Like when I first heard it, I was like, it's this match all over again. But thinking about it, I'm like, it's like there's that personal to it. I mean, this has been The Miz and Bryan have been in the making forever, more so within the last 2.5 years. And bringing Brie and Maurice into it, what they've had bad blood back in the past,
real bad blood. The fact that they before were roommates in real life and best friends, and the fact they hate each other now. And obviously you get that if you watch other programs from WWE like Total Divas coming back September 16th. Keep that on the calendar.
Quick close, huh? Wow. Oh, hey, and now make sure some of those proceeds come to the show here because I would like a Yeti mic here, dude. Come on.
Somebody's got to make their way to the heart of Nikki Bella. Just saying.
Well, since I live closer to her, I think I have the best chance.
No, I think Marty still does because he's still the fellow that's going to take down the Bella.
Damn right.
Oh man. But yeah, so that's the other match going on right now is Daniel Bryan, Nikki Bella, and Miz and Mrs. coming out in 2 weeks at Hell in the Cell.
Really?
We'll see how it goes. I think it's really just more for the ratings plug for both their shows. Anyways,
all three of their shows.
Yeah, good point. All three of them. So then we move on to which I think is going to be the headlining for a while.
Before we go into that one, I just want to get your thoughts real quick. We do got new tag team champions.
Yes, we do.
I was actually going to talk about Rusev Day and Lana. No, I'm just kidding. No. Actually, the tag team guys are definitely where I want to go to as well. So let's jump into it. 5-time tag team champs.
5-time.
Tell me that promo was King Booker.
So I might get some hate for this. I don't care for King Booker one bit.
It was nice.
It was nice seeing him come out and do his
thing. It was
nostalgia act. But I can't stand listening to him talk. I hate it when he's on the commentary table. I wasn't a fan of him when he was on the WWE roster. And it has nothing. I don't know if it's so much him, maybe his character. I think my despise of him goes back further to the WCW. Him being, I didn't really see him. I mean, him and his brother and tag team, and they did
Harlem
their thing,
Heat, baby.
Yeah, but it never really just resonated with me. I didn't really care for him, his character. And then he's the last WCW champion and comes over to the Invasion. And I think that I just had a sour taste in my mouth because he came over and he was basically the champion of WCW that brought them over. And I really didn't care. It's like, you're ruining my storyline because now I don't want to see you. I want to see Austin. I want to see Angle. I want to see The Rock. And that's all I care. I don't want, Booker T and DDP coming on my TV. And that's what we were getting. We were getting Booker T, and I think just because of the long in the storyline with him in Austin, anytime I can watch Austin beat his ass with a jug of milk in a grocery store, I'm okay with. But I've never really been a fan of Booker T, so him coming out was like, oh, that's cool. Booker T, they're bringing somebody else. They brought Trish Stratus back the night before, so why not bring Booker T out? It makes sense. It's cool. It's fun.
Where was Sharmella?
Probably holding down the Kingdom. King Sharmella or Sharmell Queen.
Yeah.
But no, so we got the New Day champions again, and I think it's cool because they've already brought more excitement to the titles in a week and a half than the Bludgeon Brothers did in 6 months.
Yeah. Hey, let's start with the fact that they won with Xavier and Kofi,
right?
Which is awesome.
But Big E wasn't even ringside during the entire match.
Yeah, that was a great match, and it just like what we were saying 5-6 months ago, and I'm plugging them. Xavier Woods busted it out, man. He did everything great, all the way to the flying elbow on the table and and he got the cover. It's about damn time they start.
Technically, they both did, but
I'm giving it X-Man. It's about time they gave it to him, and it was good to see he earned it. And then they come out the following night, and Big E's wearing one of the belts, and Xavier's wearing the other one. Kofi's just sitting there doing, "Hey, man, I'm 12-time tag team champ." Woo! It was awesome to see that. And you're right. New Day just in the last week and a half has now put a little life back into the tag team championship. I said it before, the Bludgeon Brothers are great for beating people up, but it gets old after a while. They have no personality whatsoever to them. If they don't have Bray Wyatt, they're boring. So,
well, not only that. I mean, I hope that we get Luke Harper on his own now. I think we're going to, because Eric Rowan is injured. I think that's one reason why they took the belts off him, because Rowan's going to be going away for injury. And it's already been announced. But Luke Harper is such a big talent that he's good on the mic. You don't see it, though, because you never give him the opportunity. But what he can do for a big guy in that ring is fantastic. And I think he could be a big name for that roster.
Well, I mean, even look when you kind of broke the Wyatt family up, when it was like Randy and Bray, and then like Luke, and then you had that little like triangle feud going on between the three of them. Don't get me wrong, I like Randy, I like Bray, but I was more impressed with Luke Harper then, and then coming back with Rowan as the Bludgeon Brothers, I thought that was cool. I do. I want to see him on his own doing singles competition. I think he could be a good powerhouse name, and you could do a lot of good things with him.
Luke Harper could easily be that big power on the SmackDown that they're severely missing right now. SmackDown's being ran by a lot of smaller guys. The biggest guy on there the two biggest guys are in tag teams. They're not even on individual runs right now.
Killian Dane and who's the other one?
Who'd you say?
Killian Dane?
No, I was talking about.
You're talking about
Luke Gallows. I was talking about Luke Gallows and Luke Harper.
Okay.
Those are the two biggest guys on the roster, and they're in tag teams. And it's just they need some big power on there, because the rest of the roster at the top of the ladder are all smaller guys.
Well, except for Joe, but
Joe's small. Joe's 5'4". He's still
but he's 6'5" when he's laying down. I mean, that dude's thick. Shoot, he's a big man, dude. I mean, he sweats within the first minute of the match, but he lasts, and he's just a big ass dude.
Yeah. So we talked about the New Day win the tag team belts, and now we have somewhat of a tournament. A triple threat tag team match this week, and then we have one next week, and the New Day's bringing life back into it. And for me personally, they just deflated the entire thing last night. They have the club, which just give them a damn run already, man. Like, what the hell? And then you have them versus the Colognes. Like, where the hell they've been for the last 3 years, and now they come back
on main event.
So they're not even thinking on main event, man. And then you have them against the Bar.
Oh my God, the bar! I'm getting tired of the Bar.
It's fantastic talent. They are amazing talent individually and as a team. But the New Day versus the Bar, and I can tell you right now, next week I can tell you exactly who's going to win that match. I can tell you who I want to win the match, but who's going to win it. And
I know it too.
We have the Bar going to face next week the winners of the next triple threat match, and the winners of those are going to face the New Day, Hell in a Cell for the titles. And next week we have Rusev and Aiden English. We have the Usos and Sanity. Sanity's not getting a run anytime soon. as much as I want Rusev and Aiden English to win this, because I would love to see them win those belts, it's WWE. We're going to get the Usos again. And
even though they've been gone on and off for I don't know how long now. It's sad.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I like the Usos, but it's for the last year and a half on SmackDown in tag team. It's been the Bar, it's been the Usos, it's been the Dude. I know me and you. I think we're all big Uso fans, but it's repetitive. We need something new. We need something fresh.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to say this, man, but the club, they're fresh, but I don't know. When I watch them try to cut promos, or when I see them in the match, like I watched that last match, it was pretty good, but I don't know, man. I think WWE's afraid to give them it because they're afraid they're not going to be able to carry it. That's what I think. I hate to say that. But that's what I think it is.
Honestly, they need. I mean, don't get me wrong. The comic gimmick they're doing, it's pretty funny and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I missed the club when they first came in. You know, beat up John Cena, just going out, beating people up, not giving a rat's ass of what they were doing. They were just going out and fighting. That's the club. That's the Owens and Ganderson I want to see. But it's like you said, they're too scared to give a push. I know they can hold it. They did for a couple months when they had it on Raw.
Yeah, but the tag team division on SmackDown went from best to freaking 4 teams. That's all they have. That's literally all they have, and it's pretty sad. They brought the Clones in. That's their 5th team. I haven't seen the Clones in a year.
Well, but this triple threat match came out of nowhere because there wasn't originally going to be you know just Anderson and Gallows versus the Bar. Then
I don't know, man. I lost track of it, man, because like I said, I've lost interest in the SmackDown titles. I mean, it's nice to see New Day have them because I think the New Day is entertaining. I think they like you said, they bring life to it and everything, and I'm a fan of Xavier Woods. However, the SmackDown division tag team titles, the ranks of it's boring right now. It really is. It's pretty sad. It's been a sharp decline, and they need to get some talent in there fast for a tag team division because right now they got none. They have 4 teams, and it's just an endless cycle of the 4 teams. So SmackDown needs to get their stuff straight, man. Stuff needs to be sorted out on the tag team division. Tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, guys, go in the chat and say, Masonic Vader, you suck. I don't care, but I think that's where it's at right now. I've been a fan of them, but it's just that division is weak right now. So
agreed. Now let's get to the hottest story.
Let's get to the hottest story. Shinsuke Nakamura. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa. Just, before we get to it, just a brief thing. The Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Hell in the Cell. We'll kind of see what's going on.
No, I'm not interested in it.
I am, but that's something I don't want to talk about until the Hell in the Cell show.
I'm not interested in it right now because that's a rehashed old rivalry. I just want to see.
But there's a reason behind it, but we'll get to it later on because
I just want to talk about the number 1 storyline coming out of SmackDown.
Yes,
all right.
Please.
It's the women's division.
James Ellsworth.
The women's division.
Shut your mouth.
And Naomi lost her 2nd match in a row to the Iconics. My goodness, Billie Kay got a win against Naomi. Oh, dude.
That is pretty sad. The Jillian Hall of the New Age won.
Okay, now that's out of the way. Let's no longer talk about that ever again.
Yeah. So let's talk about that women's division. Let's talk about the fact that Charlotte is the 7-time champion now. Let's talk about the fact that Becky Lynch should be a 2-time champion. And let's talk about the fact that Becky Lynch is a badass trying to be a heel, and it won't go full heel, and I love it anyways. Because I'll tell you right now, when I saw her promo, first of all, was solid. Her look was just different. It wasn't the hair all doing this and that. It was just straight orange hair, straight down, like she maybe even comb it for it. I don't have no idea. Her freaking look went from smiling all the time to like, I don't think I want to be in a match with her. She looked generally pissed.
Part of my language, she went from the last kicker to the ass kicker.
Yeah, there's no, we dropped too many S-bombs today, so we've cut those off, so we'll go with that. It was awesome. That's a great promo, and it's going to be a great freaking rivalry to pick up. We kind of dipped into it a little bit earlier with the Four Horsewomen, but I think this is what's going to kind of carry the SmackDown Women's division. As we've already said, it's light past the four people that are there right now. Nothing behind them.
This is going to carry the women's division, not just SmackDown. This is going to be the storyline going into Evolution. This is the storyline coming out of Evolution, because there's nothing bigger than Charlotte Flair. I don't care what Ronda Rousey does or what what she doesn't do. The fact that she doesn't have equivalent talent to face her means nothing. It does nothing for her or for the roster. Having Charlotte and Becky, who are arguably the two best athletes and superstars on the women's roster in SmackDown, Charlotte being probably the best superstar in the female division altogether, makes this the prime storyline for the women's division. And the fact that we're finally getting a Becky, an aggressive Becky, not your BFF sideways, going to sit in your shadows kind of Becky Lynch. And I think that we're obviously going to be getting that storyline coming from Charlotte, but we're getting that I'm going to come out here and kick your ass no matter what, because I earned this. I deserve this. You weaseled your way in for no reason at all. One, I didn't need your help coming back, and you still weaseled your way into a match to get into my title match. Yes, you did the same thing that I should have done and won the match, but you should never have been the match in the first place. And the fact that Becky just comes out, is ruthless, tears her apart, slapped her face to face, and then drops it last night. You bitch. Like, boom, I'm done. Yep. I'm out. And it was perfect.
And you know, I think the best part about this is no more Mella. Yay. Be gone. Go practice.
What? All right, hold on. Why are you tainting this beautiful storyline by saying that phrase right now?
That is a beautiful phrase to go with it,
no,
because
it's
now
not. I don't even want to look at you. You've already started talking. Bring the face up on the screen.
No, listen to this. Because here's the thing. We're going to just have Becky and Charlotte. That's it. She's out of the picture.
I was even thinking about her, and now I am, because you brought her up.
Well, you know what? And you're probably going to have some alone time after the show is over. But still, the point is, we're not going to have her. She's gone for a while, which is awesome, because now the title actually has relevance again. You could say what you want about Charlotte Flair having it. Bottom line, she's a badass champion, and she's everything like her father, if possibly might be more as time moves forward. We'll see. But now you've got this phenomenal storyline, and it's worked out perfectly. Like, whoever's doing the writing on SmackDown figured it out finally, because they were in a ditch for a while, and they now found a way that they could bring life back to the women's championship that desperately needs it, because like I said, outside of her, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Carmella, and Naomi, you're not really dealing with too many people on there. Iconics aren't anywhere. It's nice to see Peyton Royce.
Well, not only that, what have you been doing with Asuka lately too?
Oh, Asuka's taking a back seat because they don't know what to do with Asuka. Asuka should actually be the one fighting all the time. It should be Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Asuka in the top three all the time, because they're the most talented out of them. But they haven't been able to figure out the chemistry for Asuka. They can't pull the magic that NXT had with her. They had to put her on the shelf to figure out a new way of getting her in there.
Asuka is on the same situation, the same path that Nakamura was on.
Thank you. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, except they're doing the wise thing and getting her out of the picture for a minute to figure it out. Right now, Shinsuke.
No, speak English.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. It's so sad, bro. And it's perfect timing, though, to have this, because now when you're thinking women's division, you're going to think Charlotte, Becky Lynch. And this is getting it's so hot already that it'll carry it as they, once again, resupply everything. The one thing that I really was dumbfounded about after this last pay-per-view was that there was nobody called up. Right. I was expecting a Velveteen Dream possibly jumping up. Potentially, Shayna Baszler, or potentially someone else coming down the ranks. Maybe even going as far as Johnny Gargano.
Here's the thing. I don't think we're going to get a big call-up until – I think we can see a big one come up Survivor Series. And I know that NXT has War Games 2 coming up pretty soon. they don't want to deplete their roster when they have that coming out. I think
they're going to have to get through the Mae Young Classic and then the UK. They got to get the UK going too. Right.
So I
know
like
they're not
the big storyline and see if they were bring. I think it'd be fantastic and be pretty cool if they had NXT involved in some kind of Survivor Series match, and seeing what they have there because they're building it up as its own brand, and I think it could easily be something different. I don't think we're going to see big call-ups until at least Survivor Series.
Yeah. But it was interesting because usually you'll get one or two people that get called up. Like last year, I think it was Bobby Roode, and then Shinsuke, and then eventually Asuka. When she gave up the title and stuff. But this year, no. And I do know the women need it more than anything, so they need to get this Mae Young Classic going, man, and get things moving. Did we miss anything on SmackDown?
No, that's pretty much it.
Now, before we jump to your last part there, Marty, I just want to throw in some NXT and some 205 stuff. 205's found a little bit of life again. They've been doing a great job. They've been running too much Lucha House Party, though, lately, and I hope they ditch that quick. Cedric Alexander has found his niche as far as a champ, and he's having some phenomenal matches lately, so kudos to 205. NXT, I think everyone's just kind of holding their breath waiting for NXT UK. I think there's going to be a phenomenal talent surge, another show coming from that. Unfortunately, some out there have leaked some stuff from some of the UK tournament and stuff. So if you haven't looked at anything out there, we're not going to say anything because that's not how we roll. Try to keep yourself away from that if you don't know anything. Just because of the simple fact that it's gonna ruin it for you. It's already ruined it for me, but I'm also excited to see it. That's all I'm going to say.
Spoiler-free zone here.
Spoiler-free, exactly. So NXT is doing solid. They're doing a lot more UK infusion in there. And King Ricochet taking that North American title.
Heck yeah.
Ooh, man. Yeah. That match. Now, did you guys watch that match?
Hell yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, that is match of the year contender. To see somebody get freaking super kick mid-flipped in the neck and all the other stuff that went with it. Like there was one thing after another. Like that to me right there showed me that's I think the difference right now between NXT and main roster is, as I've said every time that NXT does a pay-per-view the same weekend as some of the other major pay-per-views, and there was a tweet that came out on Malice Corp. I don't know who did the tweet, but good job for them. Dude, NXT I think won that weekend. That show was awesome, and they only had 6 or 7 matches, bro.
They had 5. They had 5 matches.
It was that good.
No, it wasn't. The reason why it was that good because there was only 5 matches. I'm gonna tell you right now. You take those top 3 matches, and I'm gonna say top 3 matches: Ricochet, Adam Cole. You're gonna look at even Baszler match.
Tomas Ciampa and Johnny Gargano.
See, I wouldn't even carry that one in there. I would even look at the tag team match. That tag team match.
The tag team match.
Yeah, those are the 3. The 3 title matches were the best ones, and Shayna Baszler's wasn't. It was all right.
So it was all right. And the reason why I'm saying Shayna Baszler, and I'm not going to talk about Ciampa and Gargano for a reason. I'll explain why. If you take away those other 3 matches, and compare those to the 3 best matches on the main card, the tag team match destroyed any main roster tag team match. I will give them that 100%. Yep. Now, the Ricochet Adam Cole match, I would say that match was probably pretty equivalent. It was a great match, but possibly pretty equivalent to Samoa Joe and you can interchange. You can either do Ziggler and Rollins, or you can do Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. Now, the AJ Styles and Samoa Joe finish might have made a little wonky and made it hold it down a little bit, but I think you can grab either one of those matches and compare it with Ricochet Adam Cole, and they hold up pretty equivalently. Now, you grab the triple threat female match, and despite Carmella being in that match, I felt she did pretty decent, as well as breaking things up and having a little run for a little bit in that match. But that outweighs the women's title match. Okay?
Yeah, well,
So,
I won't argue with that
so
one
here's those
whatsoever.
three. Now, if you look at we look at Ciampa and Gargano, okay, and I think you look at, and this is where you could plug in any of the other two, whether it was Rollins or Ziggler. Match wise, it was I think that the Ziggler and Rollins match held up a better match and story than Ciampa and Gargano. And the reason why is that we've seen that happen before. We've already seen this match between the two of them. And I was even going to compare AJ and Samoa to this because they both had, weird finishes. The difference being AJ's finish and him turning and just DQing was a flip, and it happened. Gargano losing the match the way he did with him just showcasing what he was about to do, you knew that was coming. You knew it was like, just let him finish the count out. Why do you need to come and try to hit him again when he's already almost at the 10 count and you miss it? You roll over the stage, you fall, you get counted out. The foreshadowing there ruined the match for me because, like, all right, we know what's going to happen. The entire finish just got ruined because he's foretelling what's going to happen, and I hate that. And it's a match we've already seen, but two, now we're getting a finish that we can already see coming. And so that, for me, held that match lower on the card than the rest of the matches I saw. And because if you compare, it's a lot easier for a 5-card match to seem bigger than a 13-card match because there's not as much time to kill. But we're getting much bigger matches on the SummerSlam, so you can't compare the two.
Well, okay,
so
here's what I think, and once again, maybe it's because I am a fan of it and stuff. But when I watch the Brooklyn NXT matches, when I watch them, they have their fans more engaged, and the matches to me,
it's easy to be more engaged when you only have 4,000 people there.
No, man, they sold out Barclays, bro. Barclays was sold out.
So 10,000 people. Got it.
No. Barclays was sold out at like 15 to 17,000 people. I don't know the exact numbers, but they were sold out just like SummerSlam was sold out for Barclays.
There was not as many people there as there was at SummerSlam.
We'll have to look at that. We'll have to see it, but they were sold out, man. And it's the matches to me on those are much more dude, they're much more entertaining, man. I think those guys are selling out more because they're trying to get to that they're trying to get to the main show, the main roster. And don't forget, man, Velveteen Dream and EC3 was also a phenomenal match.
It was. It absolutely was.
That was a great match. And I was actually surprised they did give Velveteen the win.
Well, that's why?
Because I thought they were going to pull him up.
Because he had on his pants, hey, Vince, call me up.
I know. I thought it was going to happen, man. I really thought that was Velveteen's last match in NXT, man. So, but all in all, overall weekend was great. It was a great weekend, and like I said, the NXT, all in all, it was a great show nonetheless. So, my free, go for it, yeah, buddy.
No, I was just saying, yep.
Okay, so Marty, man, fill us in. What's going on this weekend, dude?
All right. So this weekend we have, man, if you're a wrestling fan, and when I say wrestling, I mean like a true hardcore wrestling fan, we have the wrestling event of, I'm going to say, the damn near of the decade, possibly the biggest event since WrestleMania 3. Reason being, we have All In going on in Chicago this weekend. And if you don't know what All In is an event that's being put together by Cody and the Young Bucks, something that they're doing on their own. And they financed and funded 10,000 person show. And it goes back to, some other casters and reporters for wrestling that said they could never do it. And they said, you know what? We call your bluff and we're going to call your bet. Boom, we're going to do it. And they sold out in 10 and 30 minutes. What's awesome about this is that you're getting wrestling fans from all over the world wanting to watch this, but then you're getting wrestlers from all over different organizations. New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, like champions in all of these areas. The NWA, we're getting these awesome superstars that are not tied to WWE, and we're getting an event bigger than any other wrestling event we're getting every year. The only two events that we get per year bigger than this event right now is Wrestle Kingdom and WrestleMania. This event is going to change the entire landscape of wrestling because what is going on right here. I mean, there's 10 matches. People from we're getting fantasy matches. You know, Okada versus Marty Scurll. We're getting the Bucks are fighting, Rey Mysterio and Bandito, and a great match. And then we're getting Jay Lethal, who's the Ring of Honor World Champion. They're gonna have a battle royal where they've listed 11 guys, including Colt Cabana. There's rumors that Neville may show up now that he's no longer on the WWE contract and payroll.
Yep.
It's in Chicago, so there's rumors that some other dude might show up, and I really hope he doesn't. I'm not even gonna mention his name right now. But Kenny Omega versus Pentagon. We're getting Cody Rhodes or Cody fighting Nick Aldis for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, a title that his dad held. Like that. If he were to win this match, a father-son tandem have never held that kind of title before. And the whole that 10 pound of gold, my goodness, that match right there is gonna be fantastic. We have there's Stephen Amell, Green Arrow is fighting on the All In card. Like that, it's amazing what they're putting together for this event. Tessa Blanchard, the Women's Impact Wrestling Champion, is going to be there in a 4-way. There's just so much going on in this event. If you're not watching this weekend, then you're not a real wrestling fan. I don't care how you do it. YouTube it, Fight TV. WGN is going to be airing the first hour exclusively, and the 0 hour nobody else is going to have. Ring of Honor is going to be broadcasting it on the app, but it's definitely a wrestling event to be seen. I have friends that are going to be there. I mean, it's definitely one of those that's you're going to look back 20 years from now. I'm like, I was there at that event, and definitely watching it is going to be something memorable to watch.
Now, as I have said before, I have never kind of ventured too much outside of the WWE realm, but I have also said, and you can go back and watch one of our podcasts on YouTube there, that this is actually one of the best times to be a fan of professional wrestling, because you have WWE on just a new high. They've been able to evolve their women's evolution. They're expanding it with their NXT brand and whatnot, and their 205 brand, but now you've got the other guys that are now, like we said, banding together. This is their way of getting themselves out there. It's not about WWE. It's about wrestling as a whole. And I mean, I'm going to try to do whatever I can. Unfortunately, be in the mountains, but I'm going to try to watch this stuff when I get back into civilization again, because I want to see some of this stuff. This is exciting stuff, and to have this out there. I mean, you're seeing it like every other hour on Facebook, advertisement for it and everything. So this is ready to go. So
to not only do that, not only are we seeing it everywhere, even the WWE and the Eden Network are trying to capitalize on this, because the second time we're going to throw it out there and plug it in. Total Divas comes back September 16, and their last promo, the Total Divas are all in. That Divas are all in this. They're all in that. It's like, really? Come on. You are going to try to capitalize and market on this so bad to try to get what's going on in the world right now.
Now, I do have to correct, only because of my limited WWE knowledge. There is one father-son tandem that won a belt of significant importance, and that would be Mr. Perfect and win an Intercontinental belt, and then his son. Yeah, so that's the one I can think of.
But not the NWA, which is one of the oldest championships out there.
I got you. Absolutely. But I just wanted to throw it out there because that's how it makes me feel like I still retain something in my nugget, apparently.
Got it. Well,
so
that was a very imperfect comparison, right?
Ah!
delete. No. Oh man. Well, awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff to hear. Like I said, when I get back in town, I'm going to try to watch it every way I can. Please go watch that show. If you're watching it, try to get there and see it, because it's good for wrestling, guys. It's good for wrestling as a whole. There was almost to a point where wrestling wasn't even going to happen anymore. And it's had a resurgence in the last 10, 15 years. And this is just another way to make it better. So,
not only that, I mean, if you want just not only the wrestling that's out there for us to watch, but we're out there. Every week we're talking about supporting other streamers, and it's what we do. We're a community. We're not out here to take out each other. We're here to build each other up. That's what the wrestling community is. Wrestling's for everybody. We put shows on here because we love talking about it. We listen to shows because we love hearing about it. We try to make this interactive as possible. Throw out your comments, your tweets. Tell us what you think and what you want to hear. But this is the week. This week is big. It's just as big as WrestleMania week. There's so many shows going on right now with Jim Ross, Pritchard. You got Jarrett and Bischoff. They all have their podcasts going out this week. There's some great stuff being around the world right now. And in Chicago, there's going to be some great content coming out of there. Catch up, listen to it, support your local streamers, and get this wrestling community bigger than ever.
Absolutely. Well said. And on that note, guys, I think we're going to call this a night here. So, Mind Freak with the mower of lawns, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on this right up here on the screen. You can follow me on Twitter at mindfreak_.
On the screen.
Well, just like I'm tired, whatever.
On the screen, vision.
Instagram at just_mindfreak. And on Twitch at twitch.tv/BTVMindfreak. I got the new Destiny 2 Forsaken stream coming out here soon. So I'm going to be doing some big streams coming up over the next week and a half with that.
Nice. Marty?
You can find me Twitter, Instagram, always posting stuff, pop culture, wrestling, no matter what it is. Definitely be tweeting out some All In and talking about that this weekend. So I'd love to have some conversations and debates with you on that. So you can follow me at Marty_Vasquez87.
As you can tell, he's speaking faster because his computer is about to die. You can follow me and Masonic Vader, but of course, like I always like to say, follow Malice Smack Talk first. Follow Malice Corp. Those are the two guys you definitely want to follow. Malice Corp's our parent host, and they are phenomenal. There's plenty of great content on there, and so please, you see it there on the screen. Follow them. Follow Malice Smack Talk on Twitter, on Instagram. Once again, welcome to all of our new followers out there, and I hope you're enjoying. If this is your first show, I hope you enjoy it. There's a lot more of this will be coming as we're back in the groove. We're going to be back in there doing our thing and working our way to getting some more live shows going for you guys, because it seems like we have a lot of fun doing it live, which really sounds like another conversation altogether. So as we're going to let this one go, we thank you very much for showing up to the show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Put your comments down below. And like I always like to say, we always finish off with that 1, 2, 3. Take care, guys. See you next time.